Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and today is the day. It's finally here. Voyage to the Sunken City goes live, standard rotation goes live. We get the brand new core set, and hopefully it'll launch without any major hiccups and bugs, which is something that typically doesn't seem to happen these days, where we get these good launches, but hopefully, fingers crossed, today will be that day, and this will be happening today at around 10 a.m. Pacific time or 1 p.m. Eastern time. You could come hang out with me at twitch.tv/Zeddy, where I will be streaming pretty much all day. We're going to try everything standard, wild, duels, arena, whatever there is to do, we're going to try it. I'm going to craft like almost everything golden probably. So come hang out. It should be a lot of fun, and I don't know, maybe I'll have stuff to give away. You never know. I just like giving stuff away. Anyways, today I want to go over a deck for every class in standard that you can try out today. And I will say, straight out the gate, these are all courtesy of Vicious Syndicate. They had an article of 30 decks you could try day one. I got it down to one deck per class. And I will say, I have to say, don't craft anything day one. None of these decks have been tested. They could all be complete garbage, but they're at least something to try. If you open up a good amount of these cards, or you have a bunch of these cards, might be something to give a go, and then we'll get more refined lists for standard and wild, share that stuff with you later. But I thought for day one, it could be a lot of fun to give these a go, and I tried to pick decks that have like Colossals or new exciting cards, and not really just, you know, a prior build with a few new cards. So let's start off with Demon Hunter, which is a deck with basically old cards and a few new ones, because Demon Hunter I feel like Demon Hunter is gonna be lost and there's not a lot to do. There was like the Vicious to get like an aggro list and whatever, but I'm gonna highlight Deathrattle Demon Hunter. Deathrattle Demon Hunter gets a lot of new tools that should be pretty good, should help out the deck quite a bit. Those being Ajaran Defector can be very strong in the deck. You have Glaive Shark, which is basically Consecration on a stick. You have Bone Glaive, which is just Arcanite Reaper that can dredge out your Ajaran Defector, the Deathrattle on that. And then you have the brand new Colossal minion, Xylag of the Abyss, giving you that immediate board presence. And you still have like the old hero card in there. Old, it's like an expansion old, but Kurtrus Demon Render to kind of round things out, as well as the old Death Speaker Blackthorn, which cheats out a bunch of Deathrattle. So yeah, you're just looking at a really solid Deathrattle deck. This might be actually one of the better decks to start out, because it's kind of tested and true. Curve out, cheat out a really sticky board, and kill your opponent, and you may have some success with Deathrattle Demon Hunter. Next, we have Druid, and I'm not going to highlight an aggro variant. Like, I think Beast Druid will probably be pretty good. I'm going to highlight Giant Water Druid. This is like a big giant Druid deck. Of course, you have Guff in there as your centerpiece, but you got tempo cards like Green Thumb Gardener that can refresh your mana for your most expensive spell, and you have two very expensive spells in Miracle Growth and the Scales of Onyxia. You have the new Naga Giant that can get out pretty quick as soon as you played a couple of big spells. And then, of course, we have the new legendary minion that I'm not sold on, but I'll be definitely trying it out, is Hedra the Heretic, which after you've played a bunch of your cheap spells or your expensive spells, you should get a big board swing. And it's important to note with Raid Negotiator, according to Vicious Syndicate, do the math, you're going to have like around a 70% chance or so of having a good turn 5 play. A lot of the choose one cards are 5 mana and should be very powerful on curve. Next, we have the Hunter deck, which I really want to try out. Not sold on it working out, but I want to try it out. Is Colossal Beast Hunter. The Hydrologon is in this deck, so that's the main reason I want to try it out. Looks really cool. It tries to use Wing Commander Ickman, which actually has been a better card historically than you would think. It's helped Beast Hunter be a thing. Of course, you have the pet collector. You have the new card Ajaran Saber. Ambassador Phalan's in here for some late game value. You can cheat out stuff with your harpoon gun or dredge things out. Is this deck gonna be good? Probably not, but you know, it's got Sir Finley in there. It's got some cool stuff going on, and if it does work, I will be very happy. Although their list doesn't run the Rat King, so maybe I'll have to change that up, because the Rat King, I'm gonna make a meta one day. Next, I've got a highlight for Mage. Shark Mech Mage, a new mech build for Mage. We haven't seen Mech Mage since Goblins versus Gnomes, and that was a long time ago. And well, you've got some new cards in here like Click Clocker, giving you that early game like hand buff, plus just an Argent Squire. Obviously, the big standout cards in this deck, for me at least, are Mecha Shark. Can be just a ridiculous amount of damage to keep pushing, especially if it doesn't die. Seafloor Gateway, which gives you a ridiculous mana cheat and a card draw engine. And just Gaia the Tectonic, the Colossal minion, can just swing games, can just win games. The one time I saw this card come down against me in Theory Crafting, I lost. It can be really good, and we'll have to see if Mech Mage can return to the ladder, and this list might have a shot at doing that. Speaking of mechs, we gotta go Mech Paladin. I know a lot of people want to try out their mech deck, so I'm sharing another one that again runs a Colossal minion. It is Divine Mech Paladin, which, you know, it runs Radar Detector, which we highlighted just yesterday. Probably not as obscene in Standard without Mech Warper and Galvanizer and all that, but he got a lot of good mechs in here. You got the recently buffed Gorilla Bot, which is in the core set. Mothership, which actually looks like a very potentially powerful card, as well as, of course, the Leviathan, which is just an insane immediate board presence. This deck looks pretty decent. You might want to give it a try and, you know, get some mechs going on. They can get out of control very quickly. Next, we have Priest, which I don't know what Priest is going to be doing, but we got to highlight Silence Priest, right? So here's Silence Priest that got a bunch of new stuff, particularly Whispers of the Deep, a 1-mana pseudo board clear on your giant stuff, including the Shellfish, the 4-mana 7/7, with the downside of drawing 2 cards for your opponent, which might not be a downside for some decks. And with this deck, you can just silence it and deal 7 damage. You basically just try and stick a big minion and then Battleground Battlemaster and finish your opponent off with insane damage. Next, we have Rogue, and I have to say, the Wild version of this was a lot of fun to play, and I think a lot of those cards that were good in Wild are going to be good here. Hooktusk Pirate Rogue, built around the new legendary minion Pirate Admiral Hooktusk that allows yourself to plunder your opponent's deck or their hand or steal a minion, but you have such insane cards in here, like Swordfish in particular is ridiculous damage. It dredges, it basically hand buffs if it's a pirate. This deck is something to look out for and should be a lot of fun to play, and I will definitely be trying it day one. And yeah, Pirate Rogue I think is pretty legit because, well, they're kind of forcing it with some of these ridiculous cards. I mean, all you gotta do is look at like Cutlass Courier or Puffer Fist, and it's just like, wow, yeah, pirate decks are going to be very strong. What a surprise. Next, for Shaman, we have a multi-lust Shaman. It has Queen Ajari in there as a pretty cool piece to give you some value, maybe card draw, more damage. We've got some new core set cards in here like Maelstrom Portal to give you board presence, but of course you have Scalding Geyser and Ajaran Scroll, which are just gonna go hand in hand together, their value, their damage, their reach. But basically, you kind of want to get your Coral Creeper, go wide on the board, and just try and stick something so you can Bloodlust your opponent down. Of course, it's got Snowfall Guardian, but we also have the new Colossal minion, Glug the Gulper, where if this is not answered, Bloodlust is going to murder your opponent very quickly. This is going to be a deck where it's really hard to remove every wave of minions, and they will kill you because Bloodlust is a very, very powerful card. Next, we have the new Murloc, or Murloc Warlock archetype, which is highlighted here with a very low curve, chum bucket centric deck that is all about getting your cheap Murlocs on the board, buffing your hand with Chum Bucket, and then just trying to, just stick an insane board and kill your opponent. You have a board or hand refill of Gorlock Ravager. I will note this list does not run the Colossal minion because in Standard, you only have one way to cheat it out with Blood Scent Vilefin, but honestly, it might be worth the risk. We'll have to see. But for now, this is looking like just a very early curve, cheap aggro deck. And lastly, we'll leave off with Control Warrior that's not Kazakusan based. Rather, it's pure on random scam Control Warrior built around the fires of Zin Jari, which basically will make your deck full of random minions that are 5 or more, but they cost 5. So the idea is you draw with the new Forge in the Flame, which lets you cycle destroy your weapon. You have Vandar Stormpike in here to possibly discount those minions even more. Talon to kind of, you know, get that whole cycle going. And you have the hero card of Rakara the Valorous to put it together. Do I think this deck is good? Absolutely not. But I know people really like to meme around with cards like the Fires of Zin, Ajari, or Renounced Darkness, or back in the day you had Deck of Lunacy and all that. So I thought I would highlight a Control Warrior deck that could actually just outright scam games. So yes, those are 10 decks you could try out. Again, I don't recommend crafting anything early, and if you just want to see these decks, I'm probably going to try out all of them on my stream later today, or if you're watching this while I'm streaming, today, or if you're watching this the day after, well, I'm sorry you missed the stream. Anyways, hope you guys have a blast. I hope your pack openings go well, and stay tuned for a day 1 review of the expansion, because I'm sure it'll be filled with salt as it always is. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.